So in Silent Hill 2, James is coming back to Silent Hill looking for his dead wife, Mary, who apparently called him here, which, okay.
That's suspicious.
While making your way into the town, you come across the character Angela at a graveyard, and she tells you she's looking for her mother. And this immediately sets off some red flags in the way that this interaction takes place. When they talk to each other, they're not talking like normal people talk, and they're not reacting to the things around them like normal people would react. And this happens throughout the entire game. And this isn't due to the performance of the voice actors. I know the OG game had some questionable ass voice acting, but I don't feel like this is that. I feel like they took the questionable voice acting of the game that kind of set an unnatural tone in that first game, and they brought it to this game in order to add to the atmosphere and show how everyone's almost in like a dream state. And if that's what they were going for, I think they nailed it.
It's hard to see with this fog, but there's only the one road. You can't miss it.
Thanks.
But I think you should stay away. This town, there's something wrong with it. And it's not just the fog either.
Is it dangerous?
Maybe. It's kind of hard to explain, but
I'll be careful.
I'm not lying.
No, I believe you. It's just... I guess I don't really care if it's dangerous or not.
Yeah, the weirdness of how some of the dialogue goes, honestly, like when you really think about it, makes a bit of sense given the fact that they're supposed to be in, like Jameer was saying, that dream-like state kind of thing. But some of it is just very, very... Once you have like interactions with these characters, you will stop and be like, what the fuck is wrong with these guys? And you know something's up. You know they're not normal. You know they're going through their own stuff and there's some crazy shit going on. So it definitely makes every other character you run into still give you that uneasy feeling.
And another reason I think it was intentional is because towards the end of the game, we'll get there later, but James starts to kind of break out of that like dreamy reactions. Like towards the end, he sees someone get killed and he actually like reacts and like screams about it, and you're like, oh shit, like he actually reacted to something for once. So I think it definitely was intentional. I'm not going to say like it was like the voice actors not doing their job or anything like that, but anyway.
Now, when you first enter the town of Silent Hill, your first introduction is you're running through a bunch of rundown auto shops, broken down vehicles everywhere, and just some very sketchy alleyways and overall areas. You'll find some notes suggesting at some point some people have been there, but the way everything looks, it looks like nobody has been there in a long ass time. Now, at this point, normal people would probably turn around and be like, oh, fuck this. I'm not going through this, especially with how creepy and eerie everything is. But no, James decides to make his way right into Silent Hill. Now, as we explained before, me and Jameer have no idea what to expect, whether it was going to be zombies, ghosts, vampires, but we knew something was coming. We didn't know what.
It's a slow build up and introduction to the town. I think that works because the first monster encounter we saw had us like, what the hell is that?
When we said we were going to play Silent Hill, and I told you I played maybe like one game in the past, that one game was enough for me to know that there was going to be some sick, wildly twisted shit in this game, okay? Especially when it came down to the enemies. I don't know who the fuck sits at home and says, this is it, this is the design we're going to go for. But that man needs to seek some counseling and be locked up for the rest of his life for some of these things that he came up with.
Yeah, all the creature designs in this game are extremely weird and unique in their own way. but all of them universally across the board just look, like Jose said, twisted, nasty, and dirty. Like, they all look gross. Speaking of which, this nigga James will stick his hands in the most wild places, reaching for items that realistically he shouldn't even know were there.
Ugh. Brother, ugh. What's that? What's that, brother?
But the nasty king award has to go to this nigga Pyramid Head. The first time you see this man, you catch him mid Diddy party, fucking with some mannequins, and when you interrupt him, he just crashes out.
Now, James did what everybody probably should do at a Diddy party if they're ever caught in one, okay? That man hid in the closet. And me and Jameer were shook watching this scene go down. So, when James is in that closet and he decides to shoot him, I think we both thought it was wraps for James after that.
Pyramid Head isn't the only one. You fight a collection of disgusting ass bosses through the game while you make your way through the town. And the best boss and set piece in the game has to easily be the Abstract Daddy. He looks just as nasty as the others, looking like a mound of flesh coming out of like a painting. He has like flipper looking things for hands and weirdly human legs. But the story and set piece around him, I think, are what makes it memorable.
Please. I'll be good, I promise. Tell him I'll be good, please.
Angela? Angela, it's me.
No. Please. Daddy!
Yeah, I feel like they kept a very good amount of like lore hidden and kind of placed around this section of the game too. So you were continuously finding bits and pieces to kind of put together Angela's story and, you know, what she went through before coming to Silent Hill or what brought her to Silent Hill. And it was just one part of the game that felt like every time you would find a new piece of like a new set piece for her and they kind of put that story together, it really just kind of dragged you into specifically her part of the story because just how captivating it was and how like well placed everything was to kind of hint at what she went through and what was going on.
So you find out Angela killed her father, who was abusive to her. And you get to a point in the game where you wander around basically what looks like someone's home. While you're here, you run into this thing and it chases you relentlessly around, destroying the entire level and occasionally letting out like these screams. And basically every boss has like this scream mechanic where like they'll pause, they'll do a yell, James will be incapacitated, and the level around you will get destroyed. But in this case, I think it's a little bit more interesting because I almost took it as it's like the screams of like her father while he's chasing her around. Now that could be a reach, but I feel like thematically it would make sense. So some interesting notes in the boss battle. You get to points in it where the only way to continue forward is you have to break TVs. You end up in like a room with just a chair and a TV. And you have to break the TV in order to continue. Now, this I saw as maybe the TV is kind of what kept her father away from her. It kept him at least distracted, so he wouldn't mess with her. And I think one day she broke it, whether that be unintentionally as an accident or intentionally as an act of like rebellion, or just like trying to get some type of revenge. I'm not really sure, but regardless, that's what gets the monster to come back out, and that's probably what happened as a kid. Like she broke the TV and her father raged at her. So you go on fighting this thing. You're ducking, you're running through the halls, jumping through like little openings in the wall and stuff like that. Realistically, like if a kid's running from like an adult, they're going to be more agile, be able to jump around and hide and stuff like that. And while you're running, you find these like splits in the wall that kind of act as safe spaces. And in one of them, you find like a teddy bear in the ground and some like papers in the wall. And this could be seen as like Angela made or found hiding spots in her home that her father wasn't able to get to, so that she could temporarily hide from him when he went on his rampages or when he was coming after her. So I think just the set dressing here, all the narrative weight tied behind this whole area, the spectacle with the destruction of the environment, how the game engine handles it, the action of the fight itself, makes this boss definitely one of the standouts in the game. And then once you kill it, you get definitely one of the heaviest moments in the game.
Angela. It's okay. Calm down.
Don't order me around!
I'm not. It's okay. It's over.
Don't even try.
Try what?
Like you don't know. I see what you're doing. It's always the same with you. You're only after one thing.
Angela, please.
You don't have to lie. Go ahead. Say it. Or you could just force me. Like he always did. You disgusting pig. I hate you. I hate you.
Yeah, her entire section, I think, was by far one of the more captivating parts of the game. Just because of the fact that, like I said, there's so much like hidden lore and stuff that once you find it, it really, really kind of just pulls you in. I can't even imagine if you skip over a bunch of that. I'm sure you could still kind of put two and two together. But the fact that they had all these little like snippets of information that kind of really put it together was just, I think, really, really well put together.
So the last thing we want to talk about is the ending. So you find a tape that you and your wife made, and it starts a cutscene. And through the cutscene, you find out that James suffocated his wife, Mary, while she was suffering with a terminal disease. From the game's context and what you've heard in like background dialogue and just randomly throughout the world, you can see that he did this because of the stresses of dealing with her mood swings and emotional outbursts while she was dying from this disease.
Are you taping again? Come on. I don't know why, but I just love it here. It's so peaceful. You know what I heard? This whole area used to be a sacred place. I think I can see why. It's too bad we have to leave. Promise you'll take me again, James?
Hey, there you are. Do you know where Mary is? Come on, talk to me.
Mary's gone. She's dead.
Liar. That's a lie.
No. It's the truth.
She died because she was sick.
I killed her.
Killer? Why'd you do it? I hate you. I want her back. Give her back to me. I knew it. You didn't care about her. I hate you, James. I hate you. I hate you. I hate you. She was always waiting for you. Why? Why?
I'm sorry. Mary, you know, isn't here.
After you find all this, you go back to your mission, and then you run into the Diddy disciple himself, Pyramid Head. But this time, he's not alone.
We are literally two niggas.
And they start the fight by killing Maria. Maria is a manifestation of Mary in this world for James. She represents like what he wanted Mary to be, basically like this like young, provocative, sexually seductive woman. And she gets killed like multiple times by Pyramid Head throughout the game. I think he kills her, what, 3 times?
Yes, I think it was like 3 different times you think she's dead.
Yeah, and like honestly, I don't think that's a coincidence. On top of all the monsters looking kind of freaky, Pyramid Head having freak-offs with a few of the monsters, and his obsession with killing white women, I don't think it's a stretch to say that Pyramid Head in some way is James's manifestation, similar to how the Abstract Daddy was Angela's. So you finally fight the Pyramid Twins, and you don't even get to kill them. Instead, they perform a choreographed self-delete as I guess one final fuck you to James. So moving on to the end, we finally meet up with Mary, but it isn't Mary, it's Maria pretending to be your wife. I know there are multiple outcomes here, but in our playthrough, James rejects Maria because he's basically come to terms with the fact that Mary is dead after he watched that videotape and then I guess remembered the fact that he fucking killed her.
I have missed you so much.
I've missed you too. We can finally be together. Forever.
No.
James. Honey. What's wrong?
I'm sorry. I know you tried,
James, please.
but she's gone. I know that now,
Stop it.
and I can't just keep pretending.
Shut up! What do you want? Do you even know anymore? I'm yours. I'm here for you. So what if I'm not her? I can give you what she never could. I can be better than her. What else do you want me to be? What else can I be?
I am so sorry, Maria. I really am. But this has to stop. It's time to let it go.
No.
What?
I won't let you do this to me. I won't let you go. I can't!
So after James rejects Maria, Maria transforms into this boss, which honestly was a bit underwhelming because she basically just transforms into a reskin of the very first boss in the game. But the most interesting part about this fight, honestly, is once you beat her, at the end of the fight, she lies on the ground. She's trapped in this bed frame contraption thing that she formed to fight you. And at least in our playthrough, we killed Maria there. And I think that's ironic because once again, James is basically killing his wife, or at least a manifestation of her, while she lies weakened in bed, which it's wild. So this leads us to the first ending we got, which is the in-water ending. We go back to the car that we came into Silent Hill from the beginning with, and we find out that Mary's body has been in the backseat of this car the entire time. James reads Mary's final note to him, and then he just drives his car into the water and self-deletes. Now, we know there are multiple endings, but thematically, I think the in-water ending works the best, or I guess it works for our playthrough, because, again, earlier Pyramid Head kills a version of Mary, and then Pyramid Head kills himself. And then here, James has killed Mary in real life, and now he's basically doing the same to himself. So I think that kind of further solidifies the point that Pyramid Head is James's abstract daddy-esque manifestation, on top of Maria also being a part of it as well. So in the end, the game wraps up again with the amazing soundtrack and the amazing voice acting as Maria's note is read as it slowly falls into the ocean. And it basically just leaves you with the weight of everything that just happens to just sit with you.
restless dreams, I see that town. Silent Hill. You promised you'd take me there again someday. But you never did. Well, I'm alone there now. In our special place. Waiting for you to come and see me. But you never do. So, I wait. Wrapped in my cocoon of pain and loneliness. I know, I've done a terrible thing to you. I wish I could change that, but I can't. I feel so pathetic and ugly laying here. Every day I stare up at the cracks in the ceiling, and all I can think about is how unfair it is.
So for our first experience of the Silent Hill 2 narrative and universe story, all that stuff, I think the developers, Blooper team, did a good job here. I don't know how it compares to the original, obviously, because we haven't played it. I bet there's someone probably out there screaming like, oh my god, it's ass, this is awful. But besides some pacing issues, the combat getting maybe a little bit stale sometimes, I think the experience as a whole is definitely worth playing.
Yeah, I'd agree. I'd say the only gripe I have with the game is just the pacing. The pacing can really kind of slow up a bit the more you progress the game. But I'm not sure if that's just because they wanted to add more lore or just kind of like show off just certain areas a bit more. But I think in the long run, the narrative for the entire game just kind of really sucks you in enough to just really make up for how like the pacing is. Now, would I go back and play it to see the other endings based off of how the pacing was? Probably not. But it's definitely a good enough game to at least play through it the one time, in my opinion.
But with all that said, that's Silent Hill 2 Remake. You want to see us talk about more games? You better subscribe. And even if you didn't like the video, I want you to like it anyway for the culture.
And if you don't,
what's gonna happen?
Because we're gonna find a way to send y'all to Silent Hill 2.
Well, this letter has gone on too long, so I'll say goodbye.